Tonight on CTV News, a lucky escape for a pilot after engine failure mid-air. A Christchurch woman suffers serious burns following a house fire, and they're crashing their buses, but not on the roads.
Broadcasting across Canterbury, from the CTV studio, this is First at 5.
Good evening, welcome to CTV News, now streaming live every night at ctv.co.nz. A light plane's landed safely after suffering an engine failure once it took off in Ashburton today. The pilot and sole occupant was uninjured. The incident's been referred to the Aviation Authority. The corporate sector is getting behind a scheme to better prepare for a natural disaster, and they're using Christchurch, of course, as a test case. Chelsea Daniels reports.
A bunch of New Zealand companies are taking control of making the country more resilient to natural disasters, and they're using the Canterbury earthquakes as a prime example. The new initiative, called Resilient New Zealand, is being launched by a group of like-minded businesses who want to help lessen the impact of natural disasters on the community.
This particular project is obviously trying to draw lessons out of what's happened in Christchurch, to find ways to improve how the business community can support communities following natural disasters.
The 5 businesses, Becca, BNZ, IAG, New Zealand Red Cross and Vodafone, are undertaking a project that delves into the role of businesses in the recovery of a city.
Well, what we've done so far is talk to a small set of community and business leaders to help us, well, just to gauge their reaction to this piece of work, but also to ask them to help identify what are the areas that we should be focusing on. Because it's all very well and good for us to have a view about what might be important to communities and what we might think the role of business should be. But it's very important for us to actually ask those people who have been leading through the recovery.
They're tapping into the strength of Canterbury, conducting interviews with business owners and people directly involved in the rebuild of Christchurch, finding what worked and what didn't in the road to providing economic and social well-being to communities.
I'm leading this project, and so I've been involved in it from day one, and I've been, really clear that we have to tap into the experiences and the expectations of those who've actually led through this. And, there's some people who've done a hell of a lot of work over the years, both at a community level or in their own businesses. And that's a really unique kind of perspective they have. So we have to kind of tap into that, and we have to kind of listen to what they think is important, and then try and find a way to translate that so that we can make that of benefit for the rest of New Zealand.
Research findings from the group will be released later this year, advocating for changed business practices, policies and expectations to improve how the business community can help with the disaster recovery. Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
A woman who suffered serious burns in a house fire last night has been transferred to Auckland for specialist treatment, but the cause of the fire remains a mystery.
A woman who suffered serious burns in a Linwood house fire last night is still in a serious condition. Firefighters rescued the woman from the Aldwins Road residence shortly after 5 p.m. The woman, aged in her 40s, is still in intensive care and could be transferred to the burns unit in Auckland. Another woman, aged in her 20s, left the house when she heard the smoke alarm. She was taken to hospital and treated for minor smoke inhalation, but has since been discharged. Aldwins Road was closed to traffic for most of the evening after the incident, which fire investigators are continuing to investigate. The fire service says at this stage it appears the fire was contained to one room.
2 youths caught on camera pelting a car with eggs may have been behind another attack in the area, causing thousands of dollars worth of damage.
The 2 youths caught on camera pelting a car with eggs at the Allen Street Rock Club may have egged other cars in the area. Hundreds of eggs are thought to have been used on 8 other cars at a nearby car yard on Sunday night. 2 other cars were also egged at another property just down the road. A security camera at Allen Street Rock Club captured the 2 youths filming themselves as they pelted a band member's car. The footage has been placed on Facebook, with the venue's owner appealing for the 2 to come forward. Both he and the car yard owner are yet to make an official complaint with the police, hoping it won't come to that. Both owners say they can work out a situation with the youths, which would likely involve them working off their debt at their businesses.
Well, plenty of people have been complaining on my Facebook page about another mystery smell on the eastern suburbs of Christchurch. Well, it's not the earthquake-related fire at the landfill. At least that's what the council is saying, but the locals are unconvinced. Here's Jared McCulloch.
What's that smell in Christchurch East?
I just noticed it really, strong smell in the air when I went to bed, and I only had the window open, just a small amount.
And he's not the only one. A Facebook group was alight last night with complaints from numerous residents about a strong stench around Christchurch. One resident says she could smell the stench in the mornings even though her windows weren't open. Another says the stink was so bad at her house in Parklands, while another says she couldn't hang out the washing and ended up with a headache for most of the day. Many of those concerned thought it was coming from the nearby Burwood Resource Recovery Park.
Could definitely smell something. Enough to make me want to open the window and look just to see if it had, started up again.
Nearly 2 weeks ago, smoke was billowing out of the dump, with firefighters tackling the blaze for a number of days. The fire was thought to have started from internal combustion and was managed by fire crews so it wouldn't spread. CTV News contacted the Burwood Resource Recovery Park on an update of the smouldering situation, with them saying the fire has been out since late last week. They're now working to fix up the mess, using large amounts of soil to clean it up.
The wind is coming from that way. So if it's drifting, like yesterday was a bit of a nor'west after dark. I guess that's probably why we smelt it.
But the council believes the smoky smell wasn't coming from what's left of the charred mess, saying it could have come from farmers burning off rubbish nearby.
What they said that, was going on seemed to be a lot bigger than what it was. It was recycled timber or whatever, but the fire looked like it was right in the, the tip in the landfill itself.
The material was taken from red zone houses, with the recycled timber expected to be used for future projects. At the time of the fire, around a third of the wood was up in smoke. CTV News also contacted the fire service, who told us they had no reports of fires in eastern Christchurch, and Environment Canterbury didn't get back to us. So the mystery continues into the smell that's simmering into the suburbs of Christchurch East. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
And to get in touch with us here at CTV News, the newsroom's always keen to hear about your concerns as a community. Feel free to email us at news@ctv.co.nz, and this broadcast repeats at 6:30pm and 9:30pm weeknights. Well, still to come, the community responds to a giant street sign proposal by the council. Welcome back to CTV News. Don't forget CTV, the channel, is on Facebook. To keep up to date with all the stories there and the 1 Minute News Minute, which gives you a wrap of all the news you need to know about, just head to facebook.com/Canterbury TV. Well, there have been more bus crashes at the bus exchange, and that's despite increased driver training. 20 crashes have occurred in the 3 months since it actually opened.
There have been even more bus crashes at the city's recently opened bus interchange. 7 more crashes have occurred in the last 2 months, bringing the total to 20 crash incidents since the exchange opened in May. All of them have involved problems with parking or reversing out of the one-way bus bays, a design which the Bus Drivers Union says was a flaw from the start. Environment Canterbury, which manages the exchange, says none of the crashes have involved injury. One of the crashes in the last 2 months involved 2 buses hitting each other, and another 2 involved buses damaging parking bay windows. Bus drivers had been given added training for reversing out of the bays, but the union has said this hasn't stopped ongoing concerns from drivers. Stage 2 of the exchange is due to open later this month.
A positive story now. Apparently tourism is on the up here in Christchurch, and it's set to increase over the next few years. Associate Tourism Minister Paula Bennett was on hand this week to give the region an update. Chelsea Daniels was with her.
Associate Tourism Minister Paula Bennett got the chance to check out one of Christchurch's premier tourist attractions while she was in town discussing tourism. She says that tourism in Canterbury is on the up and up.
We're certainly seeing a year-on-year increase, and this year in particular has been really pleasing to see the last 12 months and sort of nearly 7% increase in the number of visitors, most of them coming from China, so about 36% from China. So, there is more to do, and I think part of it is getting the convention centre up and running, making sure we've got that CBD. People like the hub, the buzz of a morning, even if they're on holiday, like to see other people going to work.
Nearly 5 years on from the earthquakes, we're getting more international visitors, who are estimated to have spent around $840 million last financial year alone.
We're doing a lot to attract people back to Christchurch, so part of that role is to say that Christchurch is definitely open for visitors, and we're seeing a positive result from that. I really welcome China Airlines flying into Christchurch. I think that makes a huge difference, obviously, just to have access to that market, and you really are the gateway to the South Island, so it's good to see that increasing all of the time and to see more visitors coming back.
She says there's no need to compete with other cities like Queenstown for the unofficial title of the gateway to the South Island.
I don't think it needs to compete. I think it can actually give a different experience, and perhaps especially for those that are going to spend a bit more time in the South Island, so they want to come to Christchurch, get themselves organised, perhaps get that camper van, travel round for a week or two and get a much more diverse experience than perhaps a long weekend in Queenstown.
And the rising numbers of visitors to the Antarctic Centre is proof that we're getting more international visitors in Christchurch.
Particularly this year in 2015, we've noticed a significant increase in visitors coming through. A lot of that's due to the increase in Chinese visitors that we're seeing through New Zealand and particularly into Christchurch. So our Chinese visitor numbers have actually doubled in the last 12 months. On average, visitor numbers here are probably increasing 15 to 20% at the moment, which is pretty good.
The Antarctic Centre is one of Christchurch's most popular tourist attractions, and we got to experience the full package with the Minister. She got up close and personal with some little blue penguins and had a wild experience on the Hagland ride. And the centre is always striving for the latest and greatest for its visitors.
We're always trying to make sure that we've got one of the best attractions here in Christchurch, and being something about Antarctica, it's pretty iconic, so we're always looking to upgrade and add additional exhibits and some wow attractions moving forward, so just watch this space.
Chelsea Daniels, CTV News.
They've been described as ugly and an eyesore, and they could cost up to $100,000 to build 4 of these street signs in the CBD. But does the city actually need them? Here's Jared McCulloch.
Which way forward for this street sign tower? The Christchurch City Council are proposing to install 4 wayfinding towers in the CBD after the council received feedback from the public and those visiting the city saying it was difficult to find their way around. The signs will mark our areas including New Regent Street, Cathedral Square, Restart Mall and the bus interchange. But they won't be around for long. The signs have a lifespan of only 5 years and are designed to be relocatable. So, what do the ratepayers think of the idea?
Oh yeah, I think that's probably quite cool. Nice. Yeah, nice and bright. Yeah, probably think you need your writing a little bit bigger, do you?
Quite nice.
Yeah, I quite like it actually, and somewhere that states clearly where everything is wouldn't be a bad idea.
Well, they're quite bright. I think they're nice and big and everybody can see them, and I think it'll be really, really good for visitors, so they'll be able to sort of pinpoint landmarks and even people in the city as well.
Well, they'll certainly be effective because they stand out.
Oh, they're just colourful and, yeah, they look good.
Well, they're not going to keep them forever, are they? So what's the bother, I say?
The construction and installation of the estimated 8-metre high wayfinding towers will cost the ratepayers up to $100,000 and would be strategically located around the central city.
Oh, don't even tell me that. Don't even tell me that. Put that into the mental health around Christchurch, be a lot better off, I'd say.
I'd put the money on something, rather put the money to something worthwhile,
No, I hadn't really considered the price. Oh golly, in the scheme of things it's probably okay, but then on the other hand maybe it could be money better spent.
Yeah, it's quite pricey, and really $100,000 is a lot of money considering there's still a lot of work to be done around the city. If it was a bit cheaper it'd be fantastic, but we've got to do some things around here to brighten it up a little bit.
I don't go into the city because it's too complicated.
Spend a lot more money in this city than that, mate.
The council wants to have all 4 towers installed by late October. Jared McCulloch, CTV News.
Still to come here on CTV News, your region's weather. Welcome back to CTV News, streaming live at ctv.co.nz. It's the latest in a line of new supermarkets to open in Christchurch, and today the opening of the Wainoni Pack and Save means at least 300 jobs are safe for those on the city's east.
The new Pack and Save building has opened in Wainoni, marking the second supermarket to open in Christchurch this week. The new $40 million building was officially opened today by Mayor Leanne Dalzell with a kapahaka from Aranui High School students. The building is 500 square metres larger than the adjacent earthquake-damaged building, which has been the site supermarket for years. It's taken Pack and Save owner Foodstuffs more than 4.5 years to build the new supermarket, and when finished it will include parking for 400 vehicles and another entry door. All 300 staff have retained their jobs. Foodstuffs says it will open other Canterbury stores in the near future, including a Rangiora Pack and Save and more New Worlds in Wigram, Redcliffs and Woolston. Rival supermarket chain Countdown opened its latest supermarket at Christchurch Airport this week.
And now it's time for the region's weather.
Good evening, Canterbury. Well, apart from a few spots of rain this morning, it was actually a really nice day today. Lovely long fine spells in the afternoon. Today's highs first up, 13 degrees for Timaru and Waimate, 12 for Temuka and Geraldine. Central Canterbury, Christchurch, you had 14 degrees today. A little bit cooler though for Akaroa, Leeston, Darfield and Ashburton on 13 degrees and 11 for Methven. Heading further north, Kaikoura, you had 12 degrees today. 13 though for Cheviot, Amberley, Colwyn and Hanmer Springs, and 14 for Rangiora and Oxford. And over to the Alpine region, 8 degrees for Mount Cook and Lake Tekapo today. Tomorrow's weather for the major centres, we're expecting a lovely pleasant day. 10 degrees for Timaru with sunny skies for you and a few light winds breezing on through. Over to Ashburton, could be a bit of high cloud, but that should be easing off during the day. Southwesterly winds also easing and 11 degrees for your high. Christchurch, you can also expect a mainly fine day. We're expecting that cloud in the morning again and those southwesterlies dying later on, 11 degrees for you. Over to Kaikoura, any early morning showers, they should be going away for you. Southwesterly winds as well easing and 9 for your high. To the rest of the Canterbury region, you can also expect quite a calm, pleasant day. Sunny skies there for South Canterbury and a few cloudy patches for Twizel. Central Canterbury, we're also expecting these southwesterlies to die off for you guys too. And we're seeing sunny skies with a few cloudy patches here also. Leeston, Akaroa, 10 degrees for both of you and Methven on 8. Moving further north, we're seeing lovely sunshine coming through, especially for Rangiora and Oxford. These southwesterlies again easing off throughout the day, making it quite a settled Thursday. And over to the mountain ranges, sunshine for you, Mount Cook, and 8 degrees. The upcoming days are also looking pretty good. Friday, 12 degrees for Christchurch and Kaikoura, and sunny skies for you, few northeasterlies there for Kaikoura. Over to Saturday, it's looking like a great start to the weekend. Sunshine for everyone here, 12 degrees for Christchurch and Kaikoura, and light winds coming on through. Friday and Saturday for the rest of the Canterbury region are also looking pretty good. Sunny skies for most places here, a few cloudy patches here and there, but not too bad at all, very calm and settled. Looking to Saturday, we're also expecting another fine day for most of the Canterbury region. We're seeing a few cloudy patches again and light winds coming on through. A great day for the schoolboys rugby final between St Bees and Shirley Boys High School. So you can actually tune in and watch that match here on CTV on Sundays. So enjoy that lovely warm weather and the sunny skies while they last. That's your weather for Wednesday.
And before we leave you tonight, we'll take a look at the latest drone footage of where the rebuild is at in the central city. Thank goodness for the private developers in the city, eh? And that is CTV News for Wednesday. Have a good evening.